Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Coco Gauff and Belinda Bencic clash over China Open mind games. Coco Gauff said that her pettiness helped her to beat Belinda Bencic at the China Open in Beijing, after the Swiss player accused the Americans' team of mind games. Bencic clashed with Gauff's team in the sixth game of the second set, as she prepared to serve down breakpoint, but leading 6-4, 2-3. On the previous point, Bencic had hit a poor drop shot that Gauff returned for a winner, drawing celebrations from her box. Bencic told Gauff's box to shut up, saying that they should not have been cheering before I serve and comparing the situation to under-12's tennis. Gauff said, "I treat your team with respect. You treat my team with respect," before adding that her team were not cheering before Bencic's serve. Bencic ultimately held serve for 3-3 before breaking Gauff, who hit 3 double faults. Immediately after that, next game I was frustrated. Through 3 doubles, Gauff said in her news conference. But after that, I was just like, okay, I don't want to lose anymore after this point. I was able to just buckle down. I think it was almost good for me in a way. I think I can play sometimes a little bit better when I'm annoyed, more so not with myself, but with something else. Gauff said it was Bencic who unraveled, complaining to the chair umpire about Gauff's box when they sat down with the Swiss up 4-3 in the second set and 2 games from victory. Gauff interjected, to which Bencic replied, "No one's talking to you. She's talking to me, okay? Your team is chanting. I'm too old for these mind games." Gauff broke in the next game and went on to win the second set in a tiebreak, before taking the third to win the match 4-6, 7-6-4, 6-2. The pair shook hands cordially at the end of the match, and Gauff said there was no lingering ill feeling. "She's entitled to how she felt, and I'm entitled to how I respond," she said. "I obviously have a lot of respect for Belinda. She's a great player, coming back and playing great tennis as a mom. Yeah, I obviously wish the day didn't happen, but it is what it is." As Gauff observed during the initial confrontation, the close-to-empty stadium in Beijing, which is hosting a men's and women's tournament in parallel, and lack of crowd noise magnified the noise from both players' boxes, and also the intensity of any confrontation. Players jaw with opponents' teams on a regular basis in tennis. It just goes more unnoticed because of all the other usual noise in a stadium. The China Open in Beijing is never just about tennis. It is a festival of styles, personalities, and ambitions clashing under one roof. But in 2025, the spotlight fell sharply on one match, Coco Gauff versus Belinda Bencic. It wasn't just a battle of forehands and serves. It was something deeper, something psychological, a clash of willpower and wits, of strategies and subtle mind games. What unfolded on the hard courts of Beijing was not just sport, it was theater. The backdrop, Coco Gauff's rising flame. By the time she arrived in Beijing, Coco Gauff had already booked her ticket to the WTA Finals in Riyadh. Confidence surrounded her, yet she was still carrying the burden of proving consistency. Every match was a chance to show the world that her rise wasn't a fleeting spark, but a roaring flame. She had spent months sharpening her mental resilience. Her mantra was simple: the game is won not only by the strongest strokes, but by the strongest mind. Belinda Bencic's calculated calm. On the other side stood Belinda Bencic, the Swiss tactician. Known for her ability to read opponents like open books, she thrived on disrupting rhythm and making her rivals uncomfortable. Bencic's tennis was more than just hitting. It was a puzzle she laid out for others to solve. Her reputation carried whispers of psychological warfare, long pauses before serves, changes in pacing, lingering stares across the net. Some called it strategy, others mind games. And against Coco, she brought all her tools. The match begins. Set 1, testing waters. The first set opened with electric energy. Coco blasted serves at 190 kilometers per hour, her forehand like a whip cracking through the air. Bencic, calm and calculating, absorbed the pace, redirecting balls with surgical precision. But it wasn't just about tennis strokes. Between points, Bencic lingered. She walked slowly to the baseline, adjusted her strings one too many times, glanced across the net with unreadable eyes. It was subtle, but it was there. Coco noticed. Was she stalling? Coco thought, was this part of the plan? Fans felt it too. The match was less like a rally and more like a chessboard. Each move calculated not just for points, but for psychological effect. The turning point. At 4-4, Coco served. Bencic delayed her return stance, looking down at her racket, forcing Coco to pause. The umpire gave no warning. Coco's rhythm faltered. Double fault. A roar from the crowd, half in disbelief, half in awe. Bencic smirked ever so slightly. She broke serve, then closed the set 6-4. It wasn't just skill, it was disruption. The clash intensifies. Set 2. Coco strikes back. Gauff knew she couldn't let frustration dictate the match. Instead, she flipped the script. She began taking her time between points, slowing her own pace, answering Bencic's delay with her own. The crowd noticed. Commentators whispered, "Is this turning into a battle of nerves?" Coco raised her intensity, firing passing shots and pumping her fist after every winner. At one moment, after blasting an ace down the tee, she looked directly across the net at Bencic. Her expression sharp. "I see you. I won't bend." The momentum shifted. Gauff raced through the second set 6-2. The match was now tied, not just in score but in psychology. Sideline drama. During the changeover, Bencic spoke briefly with the umpire, gesturing toward Coco's celebrations. Coco shook her head, muttering, "She started it." The tension was no longer hidden. It was visible, palpable, thick in the Beijing air. The decider. Set 3, war of attrition. The third set became a mental tug-of-war. Every point mattered. Every pause, every stare, every deep breath felt like a tactic. Coco's youth was pitted against Belinda's experience. The American crowd favorite versus the Swiss strategist. The rallies were long, drawn-out battles that tested endurance as much as courage. At 3-3, Bencic attempted a surprise drop shot, smiling after Coco just missed it. Coco responded next game with her own drop shot, holding the stare a fraction longer than usual. The crowd was buzzing. This wasn't just tennis. It was theater, a duel of psyches. The final blow. At 5-5, Coco produced her best tennis of the match. The Beijing chessboard lives on. In the end, Coco Gauff triumphed over Belinda Bencic in Beijing, but the real story was larger than the scoreline. It was about psychology, resilience, and the fine line between strategy and manipulation. The clash will be remembered not for the number of winners or unforced errors, but for the mind games that turn a tennis match into a battle of wills. Beijing, the city of ancient strategy and chessboard diplomacy, witnessed a fitting duel. And as Coco marched forward to Riyadh, she carried not just a win, but the confidence of someone who stared into the psychological storm and emerged unshaken. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Till next time.